Well, chief executives from stock markets across Africa are gathering in Johannesburg this week for a seminar on building African markets. The seminar provides a platform where capital market participants from across the continent engage on topics pertaining to Africa's financial future. Earlier, we caught up with Dudu Garekwe, who's listings and trading manager at the Botswana Stock Exchange, for more.
I think it is an achievable dream, but not in the immediate future. It's going to take a bit of time. The reason for that being that I think that African countries were at different levels of development. Take South Africa, for instance. The second biggest economy after South Africa in Africa is, I think, Nigeria. And currently what is happening in Nigeria really makes a lot of things a bit difficult because they're fighting. So for me, as a situation where you really have to look very, very closely at what you want to do. You have to look understand what the other countries are all about and understand where you really want to achieve by this harmonization. Whether you want it to be just the basic, very, very basic things that countries should have. And then countries can then go out and sort of make those regulations work for themselves. I think that will work to some extent. But then being in Africa, you know that if you say to me, this is the minimum that you can do, if I go and change it, I might change it and go outside whatever harmonization was meant to do.
So have you seen an increase in foreign activity on the market as a result of the automated trading system?
Yes, it has. It's been a major success. It's not only a Botswana Stock Exchange thing, it's actually a government project. It was financed by our Ministry of Finance. It's been one of the very, very successful projects done so far. The market, which is our brokers, have received it wholeheartedly. We haven't so far had any problems. We went live on the 24th of August, and everybody really did what they were supposed to do. The international market, we've had so much interest from them, and we are talking to them all the time. So to us, it's been a major, major thing for Botswana.
And encouraged foreigners to start trading on the BSC more?
Yes, it has. Yes, it has, except that maybe because we haven't as yet introduced internet trading. That is the main flow. We are currently working on it, and we hope it will start working soon. But I mean, whether it's internet banking or whatever, you still have to do your trading through your brokers. So the international committees still have to go through their brokers, and they are talking through their brokers. But we are, as the stock exchange right now, we are getting lots and lots of inquiries from the international community.
Let's talk about the listing space, because you, of course, head up listings at the BSC. Now, last year was one of the best years when it comes to new listings, 11 new listings on the stock exchange. When it comes to this year, Toppy's, of course, a major highlight, the biggest retailer in Botswana listing. Are you going to be able to top last year's performance?
I don't think this year will top last year's performance. Reason for that being that our concentration was more on the ATS. We started in January and just ended in August. So we've done, as far as we are concerned, we've done the best thing with the ATS. Is now gone. We are now looking at, we have 2 local listings on our table. We've had a dual listing, which is your Galani Gold. We've had Choppies. What we are now trying to encourage people to do is to do like Choppies, because Choppies, being a Botswana company, what they did is when it came to allocation after the IPO, they allocated a lot of shares to individuals, which sort of increased the liquidity and the tradability of stock on the exchange. So that's what we are trying to encourage people to do. But we are very happy with the listings we have so far. I mean, considering that more than half the year was taken up by the ATS.
So how are you positioning the Botswana Stock Exchange relative to other regional stock markets versus the Nairobi Stock Exchange or the Nigeria Stock Exchange, or perhaps the JSE here in South Africa, the biggest market in Africa? How are you selling it to perhaps domestic or foreign firms?
I think really our country speaks for itself. The stability, political stability, economic stability, and the fact that right now really a lot of things are happening in Gaborone. The development is amazing, and those are things that speak for themselves. But as far as the exchange is concerned, we have a marketing department which go around talking to people. We have radio programs. We have our staff going outside the country to talk about the exchange. So there is lots and lots of things being said about the exchange outside Botswana.
So you mentioned Galone Gold listing on the BSE in August. Now this is listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange, now with the dual listing on the BSE. What type of appetite is there from foreign companies, be they miners or just companies in general, to have a secondary listing on the local market?
I think mining in Botswana has really taken off. But remember that with companies like Galane Gold, all the other mining companies that we have, they are Canadian, Australian, or whatever companies, but the asset is in Botswana. The bigger asset is in Botswana, which is the mining license. So to us, it's good because even though they're out there, they're outside Botswana because they need to raise bigger capital, but then they come and list in Botswana for Botswana to participate in those companies. We don't actually, I guess it's just the interest. The shareholders are from out there, the people who start them are from out there. I would like to think that the BSE is at a point now where it's just speaking for itself.
In terms of new products, the Nedbank Better Beta equally weighted top 40 ETF recently listed, and as a result of many of the top 40 companies here in South Africa having a strong presence in Botswana, this got local asset allowance, and many pension funds and institutional investors can now invest in this ETF. So has it improved liquidity as was hoped?
I think it has. It has improved liquidity. It has added a new product to Botswana, which we thought, when we introduced it, we thought it wasn't going to take up as much as it has. I think Botswana are really getting into this thing of investing in capital markets, and the two ETFs are doing very, very well. We are currently working on a third product to introduce to the market, a new product, which is your contract for differences. And as soon as our system, which is the 8 years, is ready for that, we will start introduce the product. The other thing that we are working very, very hard at is bonds. As you know, Botswana bond market was started not so long ago. It's doing very, very well. We have a lot of over 40 bonds listed, both corporate and government bonds. And the laws, we are now putting the regulations in place for the bonds to be traded on the Botswana Stock Exchange. So things are really looking up.
So in terms of the outlook for the Botswana Stock Exchange, how big do you think it's going to be this time next year?
I think we should be almost double. I think so. Looking at the number of inquiries we've been getting lately, both from local companies and from outside companies, we should, if we do get the internet trading work going on, I think we should be more than double.